faithfully sharing insights, exploring the world's best books.
Hi, this is Sally Book Talks.
Today, I'm going to break down the book The Righteous Mind for you, with the subtitle, Why People Always Think They're Right and Others Are Wrong. It's a classic in moral psychology. Morality is an ideology that sets our behavior rules by judging what's good or evil. We all celebrate virtues, seek justice, and agree that stealing is wrong, returning what's found is right, murder is wrong, and saving lives is right. But often we disagree on what's moral or just, even though returning lost property is right. But is it moral if someone who finds a wallet asks for a reward? Or if parents pass away suddenly, is it fair to expect an adult sister to take care of her younger brother without question? Koreans enjoy dog meat, while Americans despise it. But if your own dog gets hit by a car and you take it home to eat it secretly, is that wrong? In an earthquake rescue, a teenager is buried here, an old person there. With limited supplies, you can only save one. Who do you choose? We constantly debate these ethical dilemmas, always convinced we're right and others are wrong. Why? Why do people have such different moral views on the same issue? What shapes our moral decisions? The book we're discussing today, The Righteous Mind, tackles these questions. The author, Jonathan Haidt, taught at UVA for 16 years and is now at NYU Stern. He's won teaching awards and was named a top global thinker in 2013. His work in psychology has drawn attention from both parties in the US, and he's been featured in major outlets like the New York Times. And his book, The Happiness Hypothesis, which we've discussed here, is a key work of his. In The Righteous Mind, Haidt argues that intuition leads reason and moral decisions and explores the roots of morality. His 3 principles of moral psychology uncover what morality really is and help us grasp it. Why do we always think we're right and others are wrong? Next, I'll dive into these 3 key principles of moral psychology.
First principle: intuition comes first, strategic reasoning follows.
Second, morality encompasses more than just harm and fairness. Third, morality binds people together but can be blinding. Now, let's explore moral psychology's first principle, intuition before strategic reasoning. Then reasoning follows. Before Haidt, there were 2 traditional views on morality's origins, nativism and empiricism. Moral nativism holds that moral knowledge is innate, like preloaded software or evolutionary inheritance passed through generations.
Moral empiricism believes moral knowledge comes from experience. We're born as blank slates.
By the 1980s, moral rationalism emerged, arguing morality comes from reasoning, like a child seeing someone get hurt and deducing that hitting is wrong. From there, they deduce concepts like fairness and justice.
But Haidt argues not all morality can be deduced this way.
Take religion requiring constant piety, even prohibiting private blasphemy. Children can't deduce such moral codes from personal experience alone. So these morals must stem from either innate knowledge or intuition.
Haidt integrates these views. Morality combines innate foundations and learned experiences. We're born with moral instincts.
But this is just the seed. Through social learning, we understand cultural expectations of moral behavior. Moreover, Haidt proposes intuition outweighs reason in moral cognition. That's why moral judgments often defy rational explanation. Intuition first, strategic reasoning second.
Like in the earlier dog story, people opposed eating dog meat, claiming health risks, an insufficient reason, since the dog died from accident, not illness.
In another experiment, psychologists asked if consensual sibling sex with precautions was moral. Respondents called incest absolutely wrong, citing risks of deformed offspring, a rationalization after the fact. But when psychologists stressed they took full precautions and wouldn't have children, respondents just said it felt wrong because they'd never seen such behavior. But does unseen mean wrong? Just because you haven't seen women working, does that mean they shouldn't work? Respondents couldn't answer that question, but intuitively they still believed siblings shouldn't have sex. This shows moral judgments appear rational, but aren't ruled by reason. Intuition leads. Our psychology divides into intuition and reason. Haidt's famous metaphor: intuition is the elephant, reason the rider. The rider's role isn't to lead, but to serve the elephant. If the elephant wants east, the rider helps it go east. Reason even retroactively justifies intuitions to make them seem reasonable. Like craving dessert but making excuses. I burned calories yesterday. Weight loss should be scientific, not starvation. Research shows early in life, we feel without reasoning. Infants understand harm versus help. 6-month-olds shown puppet shows with helpful good dolls and destructive bad dolls. All preferred the good dolls. So moral intuition precedes reason and is crucial for moral development. Psychopaths are the opposite. They reason without feeling. Serial killers, lacking empathy, remain unmoved by suffering, enabling inhuman acts. For them, reason enables evil. Sharper logic means greater destruction. Though intuition dominates, reason isn't its slave. Their relationship is more like lawyer and client.
First, reason serves intuition, but intuition isn't a dictator.
When intuition makes harmful or irrational choices, reason intervenes with advice. Intuition might comply, like someone with health issues craving fatty meat, where reason warns. That's unwise.
For example, when reason tells someone dieting not to eat cake, it might fail.
But if that person is about to eat a fourth slice, reason might finally win out.
Second, reason is a lawyer, not a scientist. It doesn't seek truth, it just wants to win. Reason's main job is helping us justify ourselves. When your partner complains, "Why didn't you wash the clothes again?" we quickly find excuses. Busy with kids, busy with work. Though the truth is, we just forgot. So with reason's help, people always reach their desired conclusion. Haidt argues reason serves intuition like a lawyer serves a client. That's why we must guard against over-relying on reason for moral issues.
There's an interesting study.
A university library's missing books lists shows ethics texts disappear most, proving rational knowledge doesn't improve moral behavior. Ethicists aren't necessarily more moral than others. We've covered the first principle: intuition before strategic reasoning. Haidt believes, while reason matters, intuition dominates moral judgments. So when people seem rational, they're really using intuition to conclude they're right and you're wrong. So what are these intuitions guiding moral judgments? And where do they come from? This relates to morality's foundations and meaning. Now let's explore moral psychology's second principle.
Morality isn't just harm and fairness. Its diverse foundations create conflicting moral views.
Haidt says moral judgments stem from intuition, which comes from emotion. Emotional reactions drive quick decisions. Animal brains make millions of survival choices daily, mostly subconscious. Psychology's affective primacy means emotion arises first, linked to motivation, influencing actions more than reason. For example, when you unexpectedly meet someone after years, affective primacy kicks in strongly. You instantly know, through intuition, whether you like or dislike them. This happens way faster than recalling past interactions, and bodily intuition directly shapes moral judgments. Studies show when people smell something foul or wash their hands with soap, they make harsher, more conservative moral judgments. Because foul smells or hand washing both trigger intuitions related to cleanliness. Conversely, after recalling their own immoral acts, people crave physical cleansing. Psychology experiments also reveal our sensitivity to harm and unfairness, like torturing animals or a mother buying cake only for her son. These instantly trigger intuitive moral judgments.
But morality isn't just harm and fairness. Haidt identified 6 moral foundations forming distinct moral matrices.
The first foundation is care versus harm. This evolved to help humans care for vulnerable children. Human child rearing is the most challenging among animals. High birth risks plus exceptionally long infancy, about a year just to walk. Unlike fish producing thousands of offspring at once, or egg-laying reptiles, human mothers meticulously nurture each child. Those more alert to dangers better protected their young. This protective instinct became an evolutionary advantage, part of our moral foundation, making us sensitive to suffering while despising cruelty. From caring for their own, people extend concern to other vulnerable individuals. As the saying goes, Care for others' children as you would your own. Care versus harm is the bedrock of moral foundations. Across cultures, seeing a baby's photo instantly evokes protective love, even for others' children.
Similarly, witnessing violence against children or pets causes distress and urges to intervene. Compassion is innate to all humans.
Yet some exploit this compassion, like fake beggars scamming kind-hearted people.
Some criminal gangs even force women to carry infants while begging on the streets as a deception tactic.
This ironically demonstrates how deeply sensitive humans are to harm.
Now let's explore morality's second foundation. Loyalty versus betrayal. Evolved to help humans form and maintain alliances.
Chimpanzees guard territories and raid others' domains. Before agriculture and private property, territorial battles were routine in human societies too. Throughout evolution, alliance builders survived while lone wolves or poor cooperators perished. So, we carry coalitional genes. This cooperative tendency became moral bedrock, making us hypersensitive to team players. We trust and reward the loyal, while ostracizing or eliminating traitors, all driven by our alliance obsession. Even without war, we invent team competitions to experience collective solidarity. Team sports like soccer and basketball exemplify this loyalty-betrayal dynamic. The third foundation, fairness versus cheating, evolved to help us gain cooperative rewards while avoiding exploitation. Cooperation requires navigating benefit distribution. Thus, helpful reciprocators thrive in groups, gaining survival advantages over selfish exploiters who provoke anger. Spotting good versus bad cooperators became a crucial survival skill. Hence, our intuition monitors fairness and altruism in potential partners. We seek fair collaborators while avoiding selfish cheats. The fourth foundation, sanctity versus degradation. Though sounding lofty, it's tied to survival, evolving to ensure food safety. As omnivores, humans confidently find food anywhere, but this adaptability comes with risks. We might consume bacteria-infected or parasite-ridden food, causing illness or death. Thus, human foraging constantly balances exploring new foods and caution about their sources. 1. This survival strategy manifests psychologically as our simultaneous curiosity and fear toward new things.
To avoid dangerous foods, our ancestors evolved disgust, helping them stay cautiously alert without sacrificing sufficient calories. Heights cites the cockroach juice experiment. Subjects had to drink juice steeped with sterilized roaches, guaranteed pathogen-free, to show disgust is genetically ingrained.
Despite psychologists' assurances, 53% refused to drink it. Rationalization versus instinct. Yet people couldn't overcome deep-seated disgust, masking refusal with excuses. Disgust's counterpart is sanctity, which has duality. It makes us view contamination as untouchable, urging avoidance. Conversely, sacred prohibition revered by groups are also inviolable. Flags, holy sites, heroes, principles like liberty, all become sacred. Shared reverence binds moral communities. Desecrate these, and the group unites instantly against the violator. The fifth foundation, authority versus subversion, helping individuals adapt to hierarchical roles. In species like chickens or dogs, subordinates show deference to signal no threat. Defiance typically invites violence. Human authority stems from this might makes right history, but true authority maintains order and fairness beyond brute force. People thrive under leaders who uphold society, expressing trust in their authority. If leaders only oppress and plunder, even peaceful citizens rebel. Chaos ensues. So, authority and subversion become part of the moral foundation, making people intuitively sensitive to hierarchy or status, willing to obey kind and just authorities, yet also alert to misbehaving ones, even to the point of overthrowing them. The sixth foundation of morality is liberty versus oppression, helping people adapt to life in small groups. Since the emergence of private property, humanity entered hierarchical societies where the weak obey the strong, and the strong lead the group. On one hand, group members acknowledge authority's leadership role, but once the leader becomes aggressive or tyrannical, Everyone's primal motivation for self-protection and equality gets triggered, leading people to oppose oppression. Thus, everyone unites to resist the tyrant through words or actions. In this sense, freedom essentially means protecting individuals' survival rights, and resistance against authority and violence is a fierce expression of this self-protective instinct. We've covered the 6 foundations of morality, but not everyone has all 6. Different cultures or groups have distinct moral matrices. Moreover, even regarding the same foundation, different people may interpret it differently. For example, some people can't bear seeing others suffer. They'll always give alms to beggars on the street, showing moral intuition highly sensitive to harm. Others believe giving to those who beg out of laziness or deceit is wrong, as it encourages bad habits and is unfair to hard workers. This person's moral intuition clearly focuses more on fairness and justice. Because people's moral intuitions differ, we live on the same earth yet hold different moral views. Those who give to beggars see non-givers as too cold-hearted, while non-givers think givers are blind to right and wrong. Whoa! Thus, people often believe their own moral views are correct and use them to categorize others as good or bad. Enemies and friends. Moreover, people from different societies or groups form distinct ethical views, each valuing and being sensitive to different things. The book introduces 3 main ethical perspectives: autonomy ethics, community ethics, and divinity ethics. First, autonomy ethics. Those who hold this view are more likely to see objects detached from their context. First, intuition comes first, strategic reasoning follows. Second, morality encompasses more than just harm and fairness. Third, morality binds people together but can be blinding. Now let's explore moral psychology's first principle: intuition before strategic reasoning. Then reasoning follows. Before Haidt, there were 2 traditional views on morality's origins: nativism and empiricism. Moral nativism holds that moral knowledge is innate, like preloaded software or evolutionary inheritance passed through generations. Moral empiricism believes moral knowledge comes from experience. We're born as blank slates. By the 1980s, moral rationalism emerged, arguing morality comes from reasoning, like a child seeing someone get hurt and deducing that hitting is wrong. From there, they deduce concepts like fairness and justice. But Haidt argues not all morality can be deduced this way.
Take religion requiring constant piety, even prohibiting private blasphemy. Children can't deduce such moral codes from personal experience alone.
So these morals must stem from either innate knowledge or intuition. Haidt integrates these views. Morality combines innate foundations and learned experiences. We're born with moral instincts, but this is just the seed. Through social learning, we understand cultural expectations of moral behavior.
Moreover, Haidt proposes intuition outweighs reason in moral cognition.
That's why moral judgments often defy rational explanation. Intuition first, strategic reasoning second. Like in the earlier dog story, people opposed eating dog meat, claiming health risks. An insufficient reason since the dog died from accident, not illness. In another experiment, psychologists asked if consensual sibling sex with precautions was moral. Respondents called incest absolutely wrong, citing risks of deformed offspring. A rationalization after the fact. For example, in Indian households, women often serve food without sitting at the table. To Westerners, this seems like a human rights violation, but Indian women don't complain. Why? In the Indian worldview, society's basic unit is the family, not the individual. Each person occupies a specific role within the household structure. For Indian women, not dining at the table isn't an insult or rights deprivation. They're simply fulfilling their familial duties, nothing immoral about it. Thus, everyone inhabits their own moral universe. Without living in another's culture, you can't share their moral intuitions. What others cherish might seem trivial to you, while your norms may clash elsewhere. We've covered moral psychology's second principle: morality extends beyond harm and fairness. 6 moral foundations combine into distinct matrices and ethics, creating separate moral worlds. So, why do groups struggle to understand each other's morality? Now we explore moral psychology's third principle: morality binds and blinds. This means justice is relative. Human morality typically applies within groups, making members blind to external perspectives.
Haidt argues morality's purpose is unification.
It strengthens tribal cohesion. Morality didn't evolve for universal love. Humans excel at cooperation and altruism, but this altruism isn't unconditional. Group morality also blinds members, enabling irrational actions. For collective interests, people sacrifice personal ones, like bees launching suicidal attacks for their hive. Sometimes they blindly support evil group actions, even knowing they're wrong. World War II-era Japanese support for militarist atrocities exemplifies this moral blindness. Why does this self-sacrificing, truth-ignoring blindness exist? It stems from humanity's innate tribal psychology.
Tribal belonging evolved because
Grouped individuals avoided predators better, and helpers received reciprocal aid. So, integrating into groups became an evolutionary advantage, providing immense security and happiness. But once group identity activates, reason yields to intuition. People blindly follow the collective, act against self-interest, and reject understanding others. The last pain, if group belonging causes such blindness, what's its purpose? Haidt argues humanity's dominance stems precisely from our cooperative nature. We possess bee-like cooperative instincts, competing individually while prioritizing collective benefit. Often placing group needs first, humans aggregate small wisdoms into collective intelligence for grand endeavors. Haidt calls this innate ability the hive switch. Once flipped, it unites people into powerful collectives. Two methods trigger this group belonging. First, dissolving individuality through awe, like in moral judgments, profound truths come intuitively. Immersing in nature, stargazing or forest walks, opens portals from mundane to sacred realms. In these moments, we feel part of cosmic unity, losing self-absorption, awakening collective reverence. Beyond nature, communal rituals like African tribal dances induce unparalleled openness and love, synchronizing individuals into collective rhythm. Second method involves psychoactive substances, like the divine mushroom used by Aztecs in southern North America, containing psilocybin, a hallucinogenic alkaloid, inducing ego dissolution, timelessness, and feelings of sacred unity within 30 minutes. Oxytocin also has remarkable effects in evoking group belonging. During childbirth and breastfeeding, oxytocin stimulates maternal care for children.
studies show nasal sprayed oxytocin makes people trust strangers more, even sending them money.
But these group bonding methods are double-edged swords. Hallucinogens disrupt neural functions, some being life-threatening drugs.
Oxytocin's effects work only within small groups, not humanity-wide. Spray one group,
Leave another unsprayed. The oxytocin group helps members more, but ignores outsiders, even sabotaging other groups despite shared morals. It creates narrow altruism. Thus, morality's third principle: it binds but blinds. The righteous mind faces "I'm right, you're wrong" dilemmas because morality unites internally while resisting externally. End quote. End quote. Yet perhaps we needn't despair. Emerson, the 19th century thinker, described merging with nature. Standing in the wilderness, my spirit bathes in nature's glow. Thoughts elevated, petty concerns vanished. I become transparent, seeing myself fully, visible to others. Here, human and nature merge. These moments reveal humanity's pure beauty beyond daily struggles, helping us transcend self-interest, fostering cooperation and mutual understanding. 8 advises, when meeting moral outsiders, seek common ground first. Build trust, offer praise, show genuine interest. As he writes, we're fated to share this earth. So let's strive to understand each other. That concludes our exploration of the righteous mind. Reading notes below the audio. Until next time,